Good evening, folks. Steve Montelli here. Listen, I guess I am not quite done beating the ball and buck to death here. Fundamentally, I think it's a good piece of workmanship. The pockets, the pockets are odd. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about here. Look at the thickness of this pocket right here. This line right here. Now take a look at that. Hopefully you can. Let me focus out a little. This is a thinner piece of leather than this over here is. This piece of leather right here, this one I'm wiggling, it's probably double the thickness of this one on this side. This piece of leather is really very soft, and this could be one of the reasons why it's pouching out a bit when you put cards in it. And this top piece of leather on this side is thicker than this piece of leather on this side. So it's really odd. I don't know whether that's done on purpose but it makes it a little strange when you put cards in it. And let me show you something else that's really interesting here. And I'm not sure if it's a feature or a benefit. So I got my LED flashlight here, and we're going to look down inside the ball and the buck. Open wide. Okay. Anyway, look down in here. Look at how the leather is cut on the edges. See that right down in there? It's angle cut down to where it's sewn in the bottom. Now, that is either a feature or, obviously it's put in as a feature because it's done on both sides and it's cut the same way. And I think what it's there for is to keep the corners of the cards from really pushing out on the front of the leather right in here. Because if it didn't have this area where the cards could kind of tuck back in, the corners of the cards could tuck in, they'd be pushing out on the front of the leather right here. So I guess that's a benefit. It's done the same on both sides. So yeah, I don't really find anything wrong with that. It just felt odd from the outside. So I had to get out my flashlight here and say, open wide, baby, here it comes. So yeah, it's done on both sides. So I guess that's a benefit. It's kind of a good idea to keep the card from being forced out where it shouldn't be, because this is really, this leather, especially on this one side, the bottom pocket is very thin leather. So, that's just a little oddity on the ball and buck. And fundamentally, you put cards in this, and it's a good wallet. Now, I think for the price of $88, it's not a good wallet. And I haven't looked personally, but I've been told by a couple of people that it's $88 retail for this. I think that is a bit overpriced, in my opinion. But the quality's there. I think if they could drop the price $30, and it'd be worth it for the price. But if they can get $88 for it, more power to them. I wish I would have thought of it. But that's just another. I don't think there's anything left to dissect on the ball and buck. I think I've pretty much beat this thing to death. And you can see on the inside where the flaps are sewn down to the bottom. Pretty good quality. It is not. It's good quality. It's just that pouching in these two bottom pockets when you put the cards in, and the difference in the thickness of the leathers between this side and the top and the bottom. It just makes for a, And I'm not sure that that's not being just overly picky on my part, which I'm sure it is. But that's what I do. I pick it to death. But fundamentally, I like the wallet. I wish it was $30 cheaper on the retail side. I wouldn't pay $88 for it, but at the Kickstarter price, it was a good. It was a good deal. Anyway, I think that's it for the ball and buck for now. We'll see. Have a good night.